Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Indie Choice Picks. Today we got a little bit of a switcheroo going on now. Today I brought on a newer sort of, I guess, say concept as aside from indie comics. So kind of opening up a new door. So you guys tell me how you guys like it. But on the show today, I have a guy who's actually started a retro gaming lounge. And yes, it does have alcohol, named after some of the most popular pop culture references out there. All right, so this guy and his team, they travel to Comic Cons. They bring out retro gaming systems like NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, old PlayStation, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and they just let people chill in their booth and play video games while at Comic Con. So sit back and relax as I bring this new, entirely different concept to you. I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, enjoy. Hey, Sean, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great. Just getting ready for my first convention.
Okay. Well, for the audience that don't know, you're not a comic book artist, right? You're
I'm the writer. My friend is the
okay.
artist.
So you do write comic books.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not what we're here to talk about, either, is it?
No.
So, Sean, you actually run a gaming bar, and you kind of come up with these cool drinks and stuff. So, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it all started. I used to do these. Well, I still do it. A traditional event called Space Miss, based off of the Space
Space Myth.
Channel.
So it's kind of
To,
like you say Space Myth. Are you thinking about like a Christmas sort of theme, or
yeah, it's like a Christmas sort of thing.
okay?
So we used to have the Space Channel, and it was like their promo where they would show all the sci-fi fantasy movies throughout Christmas.
Okay.
So we switched over to Netflix, and I throw a lot of theme parties, and I kind of missed that. So I would invite people over to my place, and I'd make all these nerdy drinks, I made a fallen AT-AT walker out of gingerbread.
Oh, that sounds good actually. Like I'm just
Yeah.
hungry right now at the same time. So
it
so you kind of got my attention with that.
was actually a mistake that turned out to be something great because I wanted it to stand, but it wasn't working. And I'm like, okay, let's just make it look like those falling ones. So I made the sand and everything, and then I put it there.
So did you have like a mold or anything, or did you break the pieces by piece and put it together?
I basically took out a printout,
Hmm.
and then I cut the cookies based off of the paper. So I'd cut them out, and then I'd bake them, and then I put it together.
Okay, sounds cool. So how did you come up with the idea? So apparently you would start with these movie nights, which like, everyone loves a good movie night, but you kind of
Yeah,
spruced it up with making these drinks and pop culture themed snacks and stuff like that. How did the
yeah.
drinks become a part of it?
Um. Well, when we used to have parties a long time ago, a lot of my buddies introduced me to making drinks. So I kind of caught on to that. And being my party, I wanted to make it my own thing. I wanted to have my own types of drinks. So I kind of experimented here and there until I finally got something that worked.
Okay, so tell me a little bit like one of your drinks. Like what would you do?
So I actually have some of the setup with me right now.
Oh, I
I
got a
have
drink too. This is just some bourbon though, so cheers.
okay. So this is the melon liqueur,
Hmm.
and then the banana liqueur,
Hmm.
and blue caribou.
Okay.
And then I usually add Sprite, but because they're out of Sprite, I got ginger ale, and it works just as good.
Okay.
So I put like about an ounce.
Yeah, and I can go the camera down so we can see. Okay, cool. Now, what's the name of this drink that you're making right now?
This one is called Broly.
Broly. Like
Yeah.
so like Dragon Ball Z Broly.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Z Broly.
You know, in case anyone watching this has no idea what a Broly is, that's
Yeah.
what a Broly is, audience. Feels like I'm on Good Day LA, like interviewing for like a new business or something. This is cool. I might open this door up a little bit more. So do you kind of catalog your own drinks, or do you just kind of make it from time to time?
I usually make it from time to time for my events. And this is actually my this drink right here is one that I made myself. I've been looking for Dragon Ball drinks and I'm like there isn't a Broly one, so I experimented with
Are there
different
really
colors of green.
Dragon Ball drinks, like if you were to go to like an arcade bar, they would have that?
I haven't seen them, but I know there is a Donkey Kong drink, there's a peach drink, but I haven't seen any yet. But when I searched up drinks, I haven't seen Broly.
Huh, that looks actually really good.
Yeah, it's very chill, melony.
And that's how
It's
you
really
would serve it, with ice and just
yeah.
basically like that. Now, do you have any experience bartending at all? Have you done that in the past?
I've never done it. I've always we host a lot of parties and I've experimented.
Okay, okay. So what is, you said I want to have like a melony taste to it. Like what kind of melon? Are we talking about watermelon, cantaloupe?
Like watermelon.
Oh, see, now that sounds good. I would drink
Yeah.
that. I would drink that. So tell us a little bit more about your gaming lounge, 8-Bit Shinobi. Go ahead and tell the audience about that.
Well, what we've been doing is we don't have a brick and mortar place set up yet.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing events within the city, just getting people's feedback and getting our name out there. And a couple of our events, people noticed me. They're like, "Oh, we saw you at that event, or we noticed you at the Fanaticon." And we basically have everything from new. So this is super hot for VR.
Okay.
You're familiar. You put the headset on and
I played
you
Resident Evil 7 with that thing, and it was
controller.
Yep.
And then the Devil May Cry
5.
Battlefront,
Mm-hmm.
GTA,
Oh, wow.
the classic.
We're going back to Genesis. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up with Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be my and Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Can't wait for Ultimate Alliance 3. That looks like it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I've just been tracking down games, and fortunately for me, and bad news for Microplay is they're going out of business. So I've been picking up their games cheaper.
Yeah. What about consoles? For like, if you want to get like not the remakes of the NES and SNES, but like the original consoles, Super Nintendo. Like, do you have your hands on that? If so, where did you get it from?
I don't have my hands on those yet. Right now, I'm picking up what I can afford right now.
Okay.
So just like the replicas right now, and then once we get the funding, or I can get one. Hopefully, I could scam one before they close the last Super Nintendo and Sega.
Okay. So what do you have? What do you have right now in terms of consoles?
I have the classic Nintendo, the PlayStation 3, 2, and my brother, he has the Wii, the Wii U, and he has a Switch.
Okay. I've noticed a lot of gaming people, and I feel really upset sometimes when I'm watching gaming videos on YouTube, like people who have like a display behind them and stuff, and they have like everything from the SNES all the way up to like the Wii U, maybe even a Switch if they're not playing, and they have a nice little I guess,
Mhm.
wall of just classic games. And I look at me and I'm like, dude, I had all those games and I don't even know what I did with them in terms of like what happened to my consoles. I know my mom threw it away. My mom always did that shit. She would just throw away old consoles that I had. And I would ask her what happened to them. And she goes, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, you know, you threw away my N64. Like, but I think I have as far back as I have a Wii over here in my office and a 360, and that's about as far back as I can go in terms of generation consoles. But there is a store in Vegas called Wii Play, and they do
Mhm.
sell refurbished consoles as far back as I think PlayStation. So I was thinking about going to go get one of those, just not to play, just to have to
Yeah.
catalog in my office and stuff like that. Just to, cause I'm a huge collector. I like to collect a lot of stuff, like a lot of retro '90s stuff from my childhood. I love to do that stuff.
Yeah, the 90s is where it was at.
Yeah, man. Even I was looking at the old GoldenEye gameplay, and I'm like, man, this is so boxy. Like these characters and gameplay was like everywhere. But it's amazing to see how far we've come as gaming. You know how far we've
Yeah.
come.
Well, what I noticed from my event was there was a lot of children there, and we found that they gravitated more to the old games compared to all the PlayStation games that I had set up. They were playing they were wanting to play the classic Mario, the Super Mario.
Mhm. Yeah, I would think that's probably due to the simplicity of those games when you think about it.
Hmm.
Because I mean, back in the day, all we had was a D-pad and maybe two buttons, A and B, and that was it. And then when the NES came out, I mean SNES, they got the X, Y. You have the toggles on the controller, the L and R buttons. So it was still you get more buttons, but it was still to the point to where it was simple. Like I remember playing Yoshi's Island on my Super Nintendo. I loved Yoshi's Island. Like I only played Super Mario Bros. Like every once in a while, but like Yoshi's Island was where it was at, and Diddy Kong Quest 2. I love Donkey Kong games. They don't make games
Yeah.
like they used to. You know, it doesn't have that pizzazz. You know, like Pokemon was the last, I think, before they went 3D, and even the 3D games are pretty cool too. But Pokemon is probably one of the last remnants of the '90s, the early 2000 games that you can play and get nostalgic of. I just ordered a diamond version that came today, and I was playing it, and I was like, man, this is like crazy nostalgic. Even though Gen 4 wasn't my most memorable generation, I'm more of like uh, Gen 2, Gen 3 kind of gamer, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, let's see if I can find it. I actually got Veronica Taylor to sign this for my
Now,
wife.
how did you do that? You got to tell the story.
So I was at Comic Con. I wanted to meet Stan Lee one last time before he wasn't doing any more cons in Canada.
Was this last year
So
or was this years ago?
I think it was 2012.
Okay.
It was like one of my last years in college, and or was it after that? No, it was 2000. Sorry, I'm thinking of all the times I went. I think it was 2014 when I went with my
And
brothers.
this is San Diego Comic Con.
No, it was in Toronto.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So I was hitting up. I was trying to hit as many as I could, and I saw Veronica Taylor was there, and me and my wife we're huge Pokemon fans, so I'm like, I gotta get something signed for her. It's it's her birthday coming up. I want to
Hmm.
get her something. So I met with her. I told her I'm a huge fan, and she signed it for me. And on top of that, she signed this for me when I told her it was for my wife.
Oh,
She
wow.
gave me this one too.
That's cool. I don't know why they changed voices for Ash. Like as far as Pokemon has come, Veronica Taylor could very well still be playing the voice of Ash, you know?
I think it was due to the fact that the rights changed over or something like that.
Well, who owns Pokemon now? Oh, don't say Disney, because that would be a shock to my system.
I don't think so, but that's what I heard. I can't tell you for a fact, but I know that I think it changed over.
Because I know, I think it was, I don't know when they lost the voice. Maybe it was Diamond and Pearl series when they changed the voice. But me and my wife, we were watching Sun and Moon, and we were just like, man, the voices seem off. Like James doesn't sound like James. Professor Oak doesn't sound like Professor Oak. Like Ash sounds kind of off too. And then did a little research and come to find out they completely overhauled the cast. And I'm like, well, this doesn't feel as nostalgic. Like even watching the old episodes, you kind of get that sense like this animation sucks, but you still watch it because that's what you grew up
Yeah.
on, But like the new animation is like, oh, this is cool, but it's not the same because they don't have the original voice cast with it, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. But
Well, also I found the stories were a lot more better and meaningful, like the one with Butterfree where he has to let him go.
yeah, they never really like when they in the age of the internet, when you thought Ash, right, was the best Pokemon trainer out there, right? And then we grow up
Yeah.
and we discover that Ash is actually an alternate version of Red, who's the actual protagonist of the games, right? And Red is this
Mhm.
badass trainer who just literally has caught them all. And then you look at Ash and you're like, what are you doing? Why are you giving away your Charizard and your Butterfree and your Pidgeot? Why are you giving away all of your Pokemon? I thought your deal was to be the very best and catch them all. Yet you're not. You're doing the direct opposite. What's going on here?
I saw a Dorkly bit that made fun of that. He was letting go of his Pidgeot, and he's like, "Why are you getting rid of me? I'm literally your strongest Pokemon." It's like, good luck trying to beat the Elite Four.
That is so true. Like when he got to the Pokemon League in the show, it's like, dude, how are you gonna win? Like, you have a Charizard that doesn't obey you. You gave away your Butterfree. You don't have a Pidgeot anymore. Like, man, but those battles in the first Pokemon League, they were pretty intense. I think he made it to like the quarterfinals until he used his Charizard and it didn't listen to him and it just kind of forfeited the match, which was like, oh man. But growing up, like thinking back on it, like Ash hasn't won a single Pokemon League challenge at all. I think in X and Y he came in second to I don't know who the character was, but I'm like, dude, it's taking you damn near 25 years to get to second, dude. When are you gonna actually win?
Yeah,
And then they're remaking the what that Mewtwo Strikes Back movie in CG, which I thought it was going to be a live action, but apparently it's just an overhaul CG of the original movie. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those things there. So who knows?
yeah.
Do you have any like original Game Boys in your events and stuff? Have you been able to hunt down any of those?
My wife has one, and my brother has my original Game Boy and Game Gear console.
Game Gear. You mean the thing that takes like 8 batteries?
Yeah.
Well, dude, I haven't seen one of those in years. Tell me about that. Like, are you using that for your events too, or are you just kind of keeping that under lock and key?
It's kind of like in stock somewhere, like in a container. It's
Yeah, yeah, like in storage.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow, a Game Gear. Now, is that the original Game Gear that you got when you were a kid, or did you have to hunt it down and find it?
I got that as a kid. It was a Christmas present.
And you still have it?
Yeah.
That is impressive. Oh man, like I remember I wanted a Game Gear because if you had a Game Boy, the struggle was once it gets dark and you're on the road, you can't play it anymore because there was no light. It didn't have that bright screen. But with a Game Gear, dude, you could take that thing anywhere and play.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think the only game that was on there was that I like was Sonic the Hedgehog. Everything else could, I don't know. I don't even remember what else could have been
Well,
on that.
Sonic the Hedgehog is like one of the best. My other favorite was Streets of Rage.
Never heard of it. I was all when it came to Sega, it was either Mortal Kombat or it was Sonic.
Yeah, it's really fun. I used to play that with my buddy on the Sega Genesis. So basically, you're these cops going around beating up these ridiculous '80s looking characters, like that movie Double Dragon. All those ridiculous cops.
Yeah, okay. I remember
It
that
looks
movie.
kind of like that. So you go beating them up, and then your super power up is this cop comes in this cop car, and he pulls out a rocket launcher, and it hits everything in sight. But you at the last stage, you're in a building, and if you hit that, you end up killing yourself.
That's funny. You know, speaking of 80s stuff, I was watching, I don't know if you know, a YouTube channel called Movie Sins. And this guy basically just takes everything that's wrong with movies and gives them sins and points on how bad they were. And I was watching one today that was
Yeah,
with Super Mario Bros. From 1993. And yo, that movie, like when you see like, even though like that movie was just completely garbage,
oh
but
yeah.
it was in the
Oh,
80s.
that movie has a special place in my heart. Like my
Mine too.
brothers, we used to do the secret handshake.
Word, I remember that, and I was just laughing through this movie, this Cinema Sins, and like this movie like was not well done at all. Like, who came up with the idea that there would be an alternate universe where dinosaurs evolved into people? Like, I'm like shifting back and forth between the concept of this movie and the actual Super Mario Bros. Game, and I go, who was in charge of writing this movie? You guys have fucked up so bad on this movie. It's not even funny. But it's apparently like after it came out, even though it was panned, it's become a cult classic. So people like you and me are like, yeah, Super Mario Bros. It's a horrible movie, but fuck, I'll watch it on a Saturday night, you know?
Yeah.
Same with Double Dragons. I think was that a game first before it became a cartoon? Or was
Yeah,
it
it was a game and then it became a movie.
I think it was on Netflix at one point and I
I
watched
think
it.
it's on Amazon Prime. We my wife picked it up. She's like, "Well, I got to order books for my online courses. I might as well get the Prime so we can get the shipping and the movies."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually pretty smart. But I was watching Double Dragon and like, yo, it was a horrible movie. Just
Yeah.
couldn't follow what the hell was going on. And I think that's like when you look back on the 80s and you know these people that have tried to adapt movies from video games just doesn't work out. I think the only successful one has been Resident Evil and that's it. I mean, we all kind of saw the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer and just was like, "Well, what the hell is that? That's not Sonic. That's some. What is this? What is this?
Oh God. It was just I rolled my eyes and they're playing Gangster's Paradise. I'm like, what?
What does that have to do with Sonic?" I asked that question on Twitter. I was like, "What does? Why is Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio playing in this trailer? That makes no sense." Like, I think the only fun part of that trailer was Jim Carrey. That was it. Like everything
Yeah.
else was like, oh no, you're gonna have to redo this. Like, I don't see like why they just can't take the wireframe of Sonic's CG gamer, like his gamer form, right? Because he looks perfect,
Yeah.
and just pluck that out of the game and throw it in the movie and call it a day. Like, that's simple. I don't see why you have to redesign a hedgehog. Oh, because it has to be realistic. A lightning fast hedgehog isn't realistic to begin with. You should just run with the idea of just plucking them from the game and throwing them in there. But I will give it to Sony that they're going to redesign them and maybe hopefully give us something a bit better than what the hell that was. But
Yeah, for sure.
you don't know. We don't know. So yeah, man, that was really crappy. Really crappy. Well, that movie dropped in like May or June and was like, oh God. I showed my wife that and she just kind of looked and just turned away. So tell us about where you're going to be doing more events at and stuff like that. I'm assuming you live in Canada. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And help me out. Toronto is on the east or west side of Canada?
It's on the east side.
Okay, so if you wanted to go to, I don't know what cities are on the west side of Canada. Ontario, is that on the west side?
The west side would be British Columbia,
Okay.
and then Alberta. So you'd have the Rockies. It's really beautiful out there. I've been there. You see the mountains and the ravines and everything.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. I've always wanted to go to Canada. I may make it to like one of the Comic Cons. I'm slowly getting back into the circuit. I used to do Comic Cons all the time, set up booths with my work and just go around. But had to get a job, so kind of put that on the back burner. But I'm planning on coming back out and trying to do as many, maybe keep it West Coast for a little while, including Canada, and then kind of branch out across the country and then as well as
Mm.
Canada. But what are you doing to get your 8-Bit Shinobi gaming bar out to the people? You told me that you were visiting Comic Cons. What else are you doing?
We're I'm making little trailers and stuff. I don't know if you've seen my promo.
I have not.
I I'll send it to you, but I basically am really good with video editing because back in the day I used to make anime music videos.
Like the I mean, like old school YouTube, like YouTube in its prime, where you would take like anime snippets and put
Yeah.
a song behind it and kind of match the move. Okay, I got you. I used to do that too, and then I did like 3 videos and gave up because it was too much work.
So I basically took the games, all like the games like that we are featuring
Hmm.
at our conventions, and I just put in little snippets, and then I put like the music behind it.
Okay. Now, when people, so I'm assuming this is how it would work for you. You would get like a
Yeah.
booth space, right? Set up your games,
Yeah.
TVs, and stuff, and people can come in and go play games, have drinks, enjoy themselves while they're at the Comic Con circuit. Do you charge people to come into your booth or anything, or is it just come in and free for all?
It's come in so that they could try it out.
Okay.
So get them like give them the experience of it.
Okay. And do what about drinks? Do they have to pay for the drinks or anything like that? Or?
We're not there. We're not there yet.
Okay. So you're going to be attending Toronto Comic Con. That's what you told me.
No, we're attending a Ottawa con called Fanaticon.
Okay.
It's a new convention. There's a lot of conventions that are popping up in Ottawa, like smaller ones. So we're planning on hitting the smaller ones, and then eventually the bigger Comic Cons.
So we all know the biggest Comic Con of them all is San Diego, which is in about
Yeah.
I think it's next week, I believe. Are you trying? Maybe one of your goals is to probably be at San Diego one of these days.
That would be a really nice goal to be able to hit San Diego.
Because I've been trying to get to San Diego. I think one of the biggest Comic Cons I've been trying to get to is San Diego Comic Con and Power Morphicon. Because I don't know if you watch my videos on Twitter, but I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. Like you can ask me anything about Power Rangers and its Super Sentai counterpart, and I would be able to answer it for you in a heartbeat. Like there's no joke. But that would be one of my 2 biggest ones that I would want to go to. But San
Mhm.
Diego is kind of hard to get into because I think after the convention's over, tickets go on sale and then they're sold out. I could be wrong, but we've been trying to get to San Diego Comic Con probably for like the last 5 years and just never seem to make it at all. So that would be cool. How many Comic Cons do you plan on doing a day, perhaps? Like, I mean, not a day, a year. Like, what would be your goal to how many Comic Cons you can do?
Um, uh, right now we're just focusing on getting this one out first and
Okay.
seeing the reaction, and then we plan on hitting up a few more in Ottawa. There's the Geek Market, and then in May we have the Ottawa Comic Con,
Okay.
and then hopefully the Toronto Comic Con and Fan Expo.
Mm-hmm. Um, well, next question. So I'm assuming for now you're going to keep it domestic, as in most of the cons are going to be in Canada. Do you have any plans to cross it over here in the U.S. before San Diego Comic Con gets on your radar?
We're hoping that once we get the finances together, which I'm working on a business plan, getting all the numbers together to show that there is profit to be made in us, so that we could be able to hit more cons.
Mm-hmm. How
Because right now,
far? Sorry, go ahead.
because right now it's all coming out of pocket, and I work for the school, so I'm kind of like from July to August, I'm out of work. So most of my pay, I have to like put it towards these 2 months and the other vacation days.
Okay, okay, makes sense. You're on the east side of Canada. How far are you from the border of the U.S.?
Not too far. I think it's about a 2 hour trip.
Oh, wow. So you like right, kind of like right there. Because
Yeah.
I know people who, when I was in the Comic Con circuit, there's Emerald City Comic Con, which is in
Mhm.
Seattle, which isn't that far from the the Canadian border, Seattle, Washington, it's right there. And then there's New York Comic Con, and then I think there was one more. I can't think about it right now, but um, Vegas doesn't really have a lot of cons. We have Anime Con, and then we have the Las Vegas Comic Con. Those are like the two biggest ones that we have here in Vegas. California has a ton of them. Texas is a real hot spot, and I want to say Arizona has a few cons over there too. So, hey, if you're ever in the States and you're going to Comic Con, let me know because I would love to come check out your gaming bar idea, 8-bit Shinobi gaming bar. Sounds like a really cool idea, to say the least.
Yeah.
We used to have one out here in Vegas, but just wasn't getting that traction. I mean, people who come to Vegas, they want to party and go to clubs, pool parties.
Mhm.
There was only one. It was called Insert Coins, and it was in Old Las Vegas, and it was just exactly what you were saying. They had retro arcade games, they had coin games, and they also had like a bar smack dab in it, and you can rent out consoles and sit at a booth and play games, stuff like that. It was a lot of fun, but I guess it didn't really make traction a lot, so they closed it down. So seeing something like what you're doing would actually kind of like be interesting to me because that's a really great idea that I've seen so many times, but it hasn't been implemented right. So give me your thumbs up, buddy. Hopefully you can do this and knock it
Yeah.
out, man, for sure, man.
I hope so too. But from what I've been hearing from the events that I've been going on to, and talking about it to other creators on Twitter too,
Hmm.
they all like my ideas.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty chill idea, especially you having a catalog of drinks that are named after popular characters like Broly, or maybe like a Legend of Zelda drink or something like that. From like maybe like a lemon drink called the Triforce. Just throwing it out there. You can have it, try it
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
But yeah, no. To me, it looks like a lot of the stuff we grew up with isn't around anymore. So a lot of us, especially retro comic book geeks like me, and you and everyone else, like we're on the hunt for something that reminds us of our childhood and something that
Mhm.
can make us happy again. Because when you were a kid and you got a Game Boy for Christmas, dude, that's probably like the best Christmas you've ever had. We're just trying to keep on to that too.
Yeah, and I feel like with the whole retro thing coming back, it's like a way for our generation to connect with the current generation.
Hmm.
Because I have a bunch of kids that are like, "Oh, you're into Pokemon," and I feel like it's my way in to
Yeah,
have a better day at work.
yeah.
Like I remember one kid, we did the Fresh Prince handshake every time we met, and that was a thing I started in high school.
That's cool. I
All
wish.
because it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm like wondering, like they have like old school '80s and '90s shows on Hulu, like Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Step by Step, Full House, but they don't have Fresh Prince of Bel Air anywhere, and I'm just like trying to wonder, like why is that not a thing to have on like Amazon Prime? Because I would gladly pay a Prime membership to be able to watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air whenever I want, dude. It's like the best show ever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. a lot of that stuff is coming back, and we gotta, and I don't want to get political, but I will for just a second. We gotta make sure everyone who wants to change what was into what is acceptable now, don't get their hands on that kinds of stuff. Because I've met kids who were like, "Oh yeah, I love Pokemon. Pokemon's cool, but what if we had gay Pokemon?" And I'm like, explain gay Pokemon, like like a gay Pikachu, like is attracted to another male Pikachu or female Pikachu. So just shit like that. Like I never understood why people would want that, but I'm just trying to express a point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. When
So
they change what is.
yeah, like a lot of the reboots that are happening with movies and stuff like that, they don't scream nostalgia. Like I love Stranger Things because it's new, but it keeps with the retro world of the 80s. That's why I love that
Yes.
show so much, because you took what was new, right? And you came up with a new concept, new idea, but you set it in a time where the majority of your fan base are going to be from that era. And Stranger Things 3, when they had Back to the Future playing and people went wild for it, when Doc Brown was like, "Roads, we don't need roads," and they flew off and went to the future. That was cool, and how the crowd reacted, because Back to the Future in 1985 was like the biggest thing ever after that, and just it wasn't the same after that. And
I actually met Doc Brown at that same convention, and he was pretty cool.
yeah, dude, I remember a few years ago, it was Back to the Future Day. I forgot what the exact date. It was something something, but it was 2015, and one of those late night shows did a Back to the Future skit where Doc Brown and Marty, Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox came out of the DeLorean to 2015, and I thought that was such a geek out moment, and that was like cool. I think it was like October 23rd,
Yeah.
2015, and like people were just not expecting that. Because I saw it on Twitter, I was like, "Hey guys, today's the day that Doc Brown and Marty went to the future to this date 2015." And I go, "Huh, I didn't know that." And then that night they did that whole spiel with like the DeLorean coming out of the backstage with Doc Brown and Marty coming out of it. I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool." I was just like mind blown that they would do something like that, and got the original people to do it too. So I don't know, just stuff like that just makes me happy that people are just respecting the pop culture that was there back then. Stranger Things, Back to
Mhm.
the Future reboots, even like Power Rangers and stuff like that are making a huge comeback these days. So it's fun. It's fun to watch that unfold for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, Sean, that's all the time we have for today. I appreciate you
Okay,
coming on
great.
to the show, man. I really like your idea. If I'm
No
ever in
problem.
Canada, I would like to come check out your booth for sure.
For sure.
All right.
Just give me a shout on Twitter.
Yeah, you got it, bro. And if you ever make it to the US with your idea, like let me know. Doesn't matter where you're at. I will make an effort to meet you at whatever con you decide to go to for sure.
All right. Hopefully we'll have our comic book out by then.
Yeah, whenever you do that, let me know, because I would like to have you on the show to talk a little bit about that too. So keep me posted on that production, and whenever you're ready to run your campaign or whatever, just let me know and we can get you back on the show.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Sean. Well, you have a good night, man, and I will see you on Twitter.
All right. Take care, man.
You too. And that's all the time we have for today. I told you it was different. I told you it was new. So if you're new to the channel, I welcome everybody with open arms. I hope you hit that subscribe button, because I have a lot of content to get through in the next few months. All right. If you are an indie comic book creator and you want to come onto the show, scratch that. If you are a creator of anything from indie comics to books to actually creating your own lounge and bar, hey, come at me. I want to talk to you to get the word out about your idea. You can find me on Twitter at heroic_studios. Send me a DM, shoot me a friend request, do whatever you got to do to get in touch with me, because I am looking to get more people on the show. I am currently scheduling for August, and if you are interested, all you got to do is find me on Twitter at that handle. All right, guys, I will see you next time with another interesting, cool creator on my show. Again, like the video, subscribe it, share it with your friends. Let's get the word out about all indie creators everywhere. You guys have a good night.